Hello, and today I will be demoing for you an application called 1Password for OS X. And this is the answer to an application called RoboForm for Windows. Now, RoboForm is free. 1Password is not. It's $39. Although it does have a free trial, and it's very full-featured, so I highly recommend it and think it's worth it. However, we're going to get into that in a minute. So this is the 1Password interface. I should first mention some key aspects. Again, as I said, there is a free trial version, and I'm using this on Snow Leopard, and right when you fire up the application after you install it, it tells you that there's a Snow Leopard optimized version, 1Password free, coming out, which is gonna take full advantage of the full 64-bit, so it will be a little bit faster. I downloaded 1Password 2, the current stable version, so I could do that, and I'm running a 32-bit mode, but 1Password 3 may be a little bit faster. Also, you can upgrade to the family pack, that's for 5 users, for $69, so it's kind of very, very similar to the way Apple priced Snow Leopard. This program has got many awards, and let's just get into it. So, the methodology of this program is that we all have lots of passwords, and wouldn't it be great if there's a way we could store them on our computers, all our logins, and have something which we'll talk about in a minute, which is what I use it for, where every time we need to fill in a form, it's gonna have some very similar fields, so just have a button that we can click to fill it with our information. That's what this application does. First of all, if we look at the application window, we've got I'll just go through the top menu item. We've got lock, which when you first start up the application, it has to set a password, so obviously no one can get to it, and obviously that has to be a strong password so that you're safe. We've got add a wallet item, which is like a password and things you may have. We've got add an identity, or if multiple people wanted to use it, or you wanted to have multiple sets of details, you could add one. We've also got a Palm syncing application, because this supports Palm devices. Now, no disrespect to Palm, but I think it's a bit odd that they chose to integrate this, because I know the Palm Pre is being quite successful at the moment, but that's their only really successful device, as opposed to something like BlackBerry, who's got many successful devices in the business sector. And of course, we've also got Palm functionality. You've got to have iPhone functionality as well. So they're just syncing options. If we look at the side, we've got logins, wallet, secure notes. You can sync secure notes to your iPhone, identities, and password history, passwords that you've entered. I should also mention that we've also got the ability to search. So obviously one thing's going to come up here because I've got one thing for demonstration purposes, but we've got a spotlight search, So if I just search for Tom here, it brings up my identity that I can do things with. I'll show you some practical application of this in a minute and how it kind of works and integrates with things you're actually going to want to integrate it with, because on its own this obviously isn't going to be very useful, but you've got details about the identity in the pane below. Common stuff that you've entered, because if we go to the edit this identity, or to indeed create a new identity, so if we go edit, if we go sorry guys, we can edit our options down here, so you can see right off the bat all the things you have to edit, and you can edit, and what it'll do is match the fields to common associated words. So for example, if you enter your home phone number and it says phone or phone number, it will automatically associate that with the field and make it work. We've also got over here the functionality for smart folders like you have in Mail, and you can create those and do things with them so that you can kind of group your passwords. A secure note is just a note that's kept secure that you can sync with your iPhone. You've also got the ability to export and back up your keychains and then restore your keychains, so you can keep a keychain somewhere safe, and if someone exploits your computer or you have a hard drive failure, you can go back to that option. So let me just show you one or two practical applications, the way you might use this. I've just got a few websites up. You might notice that is the 1Password website, and there you can see the pricing, pretty reasonable. But I've just got Google open here, and as you see, when we I should also note that there's also a 1Password menu option in Safari, and I'll ask you to install those plugins, and indeed the extension for Firefox, so you do have that functionality. But in Firefox here we've got a toolbar which says 1Password and gives us a bunch of options. We also have the option to restore and generate custom passwords for it. So if we try and go and sign into Google here, we can, it's gonna know that we've been here before, so we can, I happen to have the Google login saved here for demonstration purposes. So it says if we click use identity, sorry about this guys, there we have the options to auto save, and something quite cool is auto submit. So as soon as it's filled in the information, it will submit it. And let me show you what that looks like. So if we go to the restore tab, can see we've got Google, and every time you submit a form, it'll give you the option to save your details, and it'll override the common Firefox or Safari save dialog, and it'll give you the option to specify a name which will appear in this drop down menu. I've just called it Google as it's from my Google account. So hopefully when I click this, it will log me into Google. So it submitted the information completely securely, and it allowed me to do that. So let me show you what might be a common application for let me just
21 hours.
Let me just prepare something real quick. Okay, so what I wanted to get ready there was just a quick example of a form which has some typical elements on it, typical type of elements that you're always going to be filling in constantly if you sign up to a lot of websites. This is where 1Password really shines. So I've got this form, and I could fill in all of my information, but instead I could use my identity that I've already configured of 1Password. So in Firefox here, there's multiple ways I can do that. I can go on this toolbar that's been installed, hit the user identity button, and then click my name, and it will populate the fields that I wanted. Now it will use the power of association, so even if they haven't named it exactly, I mean, I know I certainly didn't put in form name and surname, but even if they haven't named it exactly, it will associate it with the correct field. So that's kind of cool. It also has a random password generator, and if you click that, you can specify things such as the length, and it will give you a random password, and then the option to name it and specify it for that website. And you can get really granular. You can copy it to the clipboard and things like that. You do notice here that Tom T.R. Rogers can't be my house name. That's because it says name in the field, so again it's using that association that it says name on the label of the HTML element, and it's getting it wrong. If I submitted this form, it would realise in future that if anything said house name or number, it does in fact mean that I want that field to be populated. These fields that haven't been populated are ones that I in fact neglected to enter into my 1Password profile or identity, if you will, because for privacy reasons. So that was a quick demo of 1Password. 1Password, a Mac application for filling out forms and obviously remembering passwords. I think it's really useful, and I highly recommend it. If you've liked this video, please don't forget to subscribe, rate and comment on the video. Thank you for watching.